for the many blessings that you've poured out on our community and our nation. We lift up Clay County and all who call it home. Grant us the wisdom and courage to protect our county's identity, its values, its history, and the character that makes this community strong, while guiding us to grow responsibly and with purpose. We ask for your protection and strength over our police officers and our firefighters who place themselves in harm's way each day to serve others. Watch over them, give them courage in moments of danger, and peace when they return home. We pray for the men and women of our military, both here at home and abroad. Surround them with your protection, comfort their families, and bring them home safely when their service is complete. We thank you for the freedom to speak openly and honestly. May we continue to safeguard this blessing and use it with respect, humility, and a commitment to truth. Lord, I'm thankful for my fellow commissioners. Please bless them and our dedicated county staff. Grant us clarity in decision-making, integrity in our actions, and unity in our service to the people we represent. As we enter the year marking the 250th anniversary of the United States of America, allow us to pause and reflect on the sacrifices made to secure our freedoms. Help us honor that legacy by protecting what has been built, strengthening what unites us, and leaving a foundation of faith and freedom for generations to come. We ask this in your heavenly and holy name. Amen. Today's veteran-led pledge is Captain Dwayne Malacote. Mr. Malacote has served nearly 34 years in the United States Navy, retiring in 2025. He enlisted in 1971 and rose through the enlisted ranks to Chief Petty Officer before being commissioned as an Aviation Maintenance Limited Duty Officer in 1981. He later became an Aviation Maintenance Duty Officer and was selected for the TAR Officer Program in 1989. His career included senior leadership roles in Squadron and AIMD Maintenance, the Pentagon, NAVAIR, and as NAVAIR Reserve Program Manager, he oversaw all Navy and Marine Corps Reserve programs. He's a decorated veteran. Malacote was awarded the Navy Achievement Medal, the Navy Commendation Medal, and the Meritorious Service Medal, and Legion of Merit. He said it was an honor to serve his country, valuing the lessons of commitment and leadership, as well as the opportunity to visit 22 countries during 8 deployments. He's currently a Fleming Island resident. He continues to serve his community as the president of Malacote Heritage LLC. He's a past president of Rotary Club of Orange Park Sunrise. He's also the committee lead for the world-famous September Flags for Heroes event, and he's an area governor of Rotary District 6970. Mr. Malacote, we thank you for your service to our nation and for your continued commitment to our community, and we'd like you to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and then afterwards, feel free to make a few comments.
It will be my honor, sir. Please join me, if you would, on the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I want to thank all of you for the opportunity to come here today. I know several of you up there are fellow Rotarians, and we've crossed paths doing that. I want to thank Rich for asking me, but for the county commissioners, I want to thank you for the way that you start your meetings by saying the pledge. It's something that that is really important for the ones that have served for that. I want to thank you all, especially from the Rotary side, for your proclamations that you've helped us with for our Polio Plus campaign, and for also, as you mentioned, the Flags for Heroes, which this year we got kicked out of town of Orange Park. We were told by the fire chief that you cannot put 357 people in a room that holds 120. So we will be at Orange Park Mall. So with that, I thank you all for the honor to come here today. Thank you.
Thanks, Dwayne. Mr. Malacote, it also looks like Chip Dobson's out in the audience. I think, Chip, did you want us to reappoint you to the committee we just moved you off of? Yeah. I'm just kidding. Yeah. Welcome. Welcome back, Chip. Thanks. All right. I'd like to call to order the Board of County Commissioners meeting on Tuesday, February 10th, 2026. Please let the record reflect that 4 commissioners are present and Chairwoman Dr. Burke is absent today. I'd like to move right into pet adoptions with Ms. Capote.
Okay, our first cat today is Calypso, a spayed female, domestic short hair, 8 years old. Calypso is an 8-year-old senior girl with a tender heart and a calm, affectionate nature. She loves gentle attention, cozy naps, and spending quiet time with her favorite humans. Calypso has a soothing presence and a sweet way of reminding you she's nearby, ready for soft pets and companionship. She would thrive in a peaceful home where she can be cherished and loved for the wonderful cat she is. Next, we have Cookies, a neutered male, mixed breed, 63 pounds, a year old, and is heartworm negative. Cookies is a big, bouncy girl with a happy-go-lucky personality and lots of energy. She loves rope toys, no sit, and is semi-food motivated. She may be a little unsure of strangers at first, but warms up quickly with treats. Cookies is very people-oriented and bonds closely with her person. She does best in a home without cats and will benefit from a continued leash training. Next, we have Merlin, a neutered male, domestic short hair, 7 months and 64 pounds. Merlin is a 7-month-old little magician of a kitty, shy, sweet, and full of curiosity. He might hide at first, but give him a little time and gentle love, and he'll show his playful, purring side. Merlin would do best in a calm home where he can feel safe while he works his magic to win your heart. And lastly, we have Lady Lola, a spayed female, heartworm negative, mixed breed, 4-year-old, weighs 70 pounds and is heartworm negative. Lady Lola is a sweet, friendly girl who is having a hard time adjusting to the shelter environment. According to her previous owner, she is house-trained, kid-friendly, and previously lived with a male dog. She's eager to get out and explore and would love a calm, secure home where she can feel comfortable again. A meet and greet is the best way to see if Lady Lola is the right fit for your family. And if you're ready to meet your new best friend, our adoptable animals are waiting to add some extra love and fun to your life. From wagging tails to purring kitties, we've got the perfect companion just for you. Want to see who's available? Head over to our website and meet our adorable crew looking for their forever homes. And if you have questions, you can drop us a line at clayadoptions@claycountygov.com and let's chat. Don't wait. Your new best friend is just a click away. And like we've shown you before, we have little Mistletoes, who is currently in a foster home. And these puppies are always in need of foster homes where they can grow, receive socialization, and get the care that they need until they are ready for adoption. Could you provide a loving temporary home for one of our foster animals? If so, please contact us at clayfosters@claycountygov.com. And if you're interested in helping our furry friends but you can't bring one home, please take a look at our Amazon wish list. We are always in need of items for the shelter animals. Just go to Amazon.com. And that completes our pet adoptions.
Thank you very much, Ms. Capote. At this time, will all of my fellow commissioners join me on the board floor? We have one proclamation today recognizing Black History Month. All right, so Black History Month is recognized to honor the contributions of Black Americans and acknowledge their lasting impact on our nation's history and progress. We're honored to have representatives here today from the Palmetto Community Development Corporation, the Village Improvement Association, along with alumni from the historic Dunbar High School in Green Cove Springs. So I'm going to, as I announce you, if you can come up and join us before Commissioner Compere reads the proclamation. From the Palmetto Community Development, PCDC, we have the Honorary Fundraising Chair and former Green Cove Springs Mayor, the Honorable Ms. Connie Butler. We have Board Member Dr. Cheryl Gonzalez. Some of the alumni from Dunbar High School are Lucille Johnson DeVoe, Carolyn Hines Clarkson. This next guy, everyone would know as the leader formerly of the Cougars in Green Cove Springs. I saw him somewhere. Mr. Ken Francis. Thought I saw him. There he is. I'll never forget that. 7th and 8th grade at Green Cove. The Cougars. Dr. Larry Richardson, Barbara Garner, And then from the Village Improvement Association, we have board member Janie Fox and president Lorianne Stutz. And anyone else that'd like to join us for this proclamation, please feel free to join us as Commissioner Compare is going to read for us today.
Right, I think we're ready. The proclamation reads, whereas Black History Month, established in 1926, promotes the recognition and accurate representation of African American history and honors the significant contributions and achievements of Black and African Americans whose efforts have enriched the nation and preserved its treasured institutions. And whereas Dunbar High School in Clay County, Florida, operated from 1942 to 1967, evolving from the Green Cove Spring School, colored, founded circa 1896, and was named in honor of Paul Laurence Dunbar, the renowned poet and one of the nation's first African American professional authors. And whereas the legacy of Dunbar High School is celebrated through an annual event led by alumni Linda Francis Gibson, Lucille Johnson DeVoe, Carolyn Hines Clarkson, and Evelyn Battles Johnson, whose ongoing service with organizations like the Friends of the Augusta Savage Arts and Community Center and Palmetto Community Development Corporation, Inc., foster historical awareness, community pride, and economic growth in Clay County. And whereas in December 2025, distinguished Dunbar High School graduates were recognized for the 60th anniversary of the class of 1965's graduation. Not you, not you. And for exemplary achievements in education, athletics, public service, and community leadership, reflecting the resilience and excellence fostered by Dunbar High School. And whereas honorees included Willie Brown, recognized for decades of service in high school and collegiate athletics, Ken Francis, an educator who rose from teacher to principal, Dr. Larry Richardson Sr., class valedictorian and distinguished psychologist, Barbara Garner, retired educator and president of the Dunbar High School Alumni Association, and Purcell Hall, former Dunbar athlete and the first African American basketball coach in St. Johns County, each recognized in December 2025 for milestone anniversaries and notable achievements. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of County Commissioners, Clay County, Florida, does hereby proclaim February 2026 as Black History Month in Clay County. Be it further resolved that the Clay County Board of County Commissioners hereby honors the graduates of Paul Laurence Dunbar High School and recognizes their lasting contributions in Clay County, the state of Florida, and beyond. Duly adopted by the Board of County Commissioners, Clay County, Florida, this 10th day of February 2026. Do I have a motion? All in favor? Aye. It's unanimous.
Awesome. Anybody like to say a few words? Everybody can talk. Yeah, no.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Lucille DeVoe, and I went to Dunbar High School, and I left in '67 and went to Clay High School. But nevertheless, on behalf of the Dunbar Christmas Gathering Committee, I am deeply honored and humbled to accept this proclamation. This honor belongs to the alumni of Dunbar, the family, the friends, and the entire community who supported us in this annual event. You can hold it. Let this recognition serve as a reminder that we achieve great things when we all work together. Our legacy is not leaving something for the people, it's leaving something in the people. Thank you for this honor, and may the legacy of Dunbar High School live on. Thank you.
just like to share a few words in regards to Dunbar. Your former commissioner, Larry Lancaster, he graduated from Clay High School in 1965. I graduated from Dunbar in 1965. He went on to college at University of Florida, graduated in 69. I went on to Edward Waters College and graduated in 1969. We both took jobs at Clay High School. He left Clay High School in 1973 to be a highway patrolman. I left Clay High School in 73 to become director of the Neighborhood Facility Center, which is Old Dunbar, for the city of Green Cove Springs. 3 years later, he returned. 3 years later, I returned. His position was Dean of Students. My position was to go to the county office and become the school social worker, attendance officer. What I'm saying this in regards to Dunbar, in regards to education, when it was separate but equal, we learned, we were taught, we had success. The evidence of that success is in our graduates. The legacy of Dunbar lives on in us. We try not to let it die with us. We appreciate the recognition that we're receiving here today as a part of recognizing Dunbar High School graduates. And this is our 60th year of being a high school graduate. Again, Mr. Commissioner, thank you, thank you, thank you. Larry?
My name is Larry Richardson. They call me Doc. And this is a very historic event for me. I graduated as valedictorian from Dunbar High School in 1965. I went on to get in the Navy. Matter of fact, I left the same week of graduation. And overall, my Navy career spanned 22 years. Additionally, because of the motivation that was ingrained in us at Dunbar High School by our teachers, which I want to acknowledge, we had the best teachers in the universe who taught us not only about education, but about how to be decent human beings and how to stand up for your community. And I went on, because of my teachers' urging, I ended up graduating from 3 colleges with 3 degrees, all of them with honors. And I'm very proud of that because the foundation that I got at Dunbar High School enabled me to compete anywhere. I used to say the world, but I extended it to the universe because that's how far reaching it is. And I never thought in my wildest dreams I'll be recognized by the county commission at this time. And I'm exceedingly thankful and proud to accept this recognition. Thank you all very much.
I always have to say this. The class of 1967 was the last class to graduate Dunbar High School, and we are so proud, so proud.
Well, earlier, when the proclamation was being read and when you saw me do this, I was one of the ones that did not attend Dunbar High School, but I did have the privilege of being able to eat lunch in the cafeteria. I was just a little baby, so, you know. I think I was in kindergarten, maybe. I was in kindergarten. But anyway, and I'm proud to be able to be a part of this as well. Here in our community, I thank the county commissioners for allowing us to receive the proclamation, not only for the Dunbar High School, but also for the PCDC, which is the Palmetto Community Development Corporation. And we're located actually just adjacent of here. So you're going to see some great things that are happening here in Green Cove Springs. Thank you for the honor of Black History Month. And as we know, that the Friends of Augusta Savage will be having other activities and events that are taking place here in Green Cove, and we are so proud. We just had the kickoff on last Saturday, which was a musical extravaganza, and it was outstanding. This week, on Sunday, if don't have anything to do, we invite you to the Mount Zion AME Church, which is right over here. So at 3:30 p.m., and as Mr. Francis had told you, he went to EWU, Edward Waters University. They will have their, I think it's their choir, their worship choir will be in attendance there. You don't want to miss it, okay? And then on February 21st, there will be a children's festival in the Spring Park in Gringo Springs, and it will be from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. And then on February the 28th, and that's on a Saturday, beginning at 5:30 p.m., there will be an exhibit at the Gringo Springs Junior High, and that's 1220 Bonaventure Avenue. Is that right, Mr. Francis? um, we will have, for the guest speaker or the keynote speaker, will be none other than Vincent Evans. He is a native of Gringo Springs. He is the executive director for the Congressional Black Caucus. And we invite everyone to come out and help us to celebrate Black History Month. And thank you very much. Oh, okay. Okay, we have the village. We have the village.
Yeah, I want to say on behalf of the Village Improvement Association how much we are honored and appreciate being up here with all of you. I know Janie would agree with me. Our favorite place to be is working with Augusta Savage and the Palmetto House. And I'm also going to say Mr. Francis is the principal that hired me. I worked under him for I don't know how many years, but there were several principals that came after him, and he was by far the best. And I'm just love being in Green Cove.
Good evening. I'll be very short. I would be remiss if I didn't say there are other members of the Dunbar High School in the audience. You can wave your hand or stand if you want. Thank you for being here. And a new organization that's being established, the African American Historical Society of Clay County, which is the president is here. Raise your hand. The organization is a collaborative organization. So there's so much happening, so much collaboration, as you can see, and we're grateful. On behalf of the Palmetto Community Development Corporation, we are extremely proud to be a part of this community, all of Clay County, and to assist and support all. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
you're good.
fine. You're fine. Oh, sure, please.
Yes, there are some of the Dunbar members that are also watching. And one of the ones that wasn't able to be here was Linda Francis Gibson. Gibson wasn't able to be here, but we want to make sure, Linda, we mention your name, okay? Want to know, we put a shout out to you and others.
No, you're good. You're good. I thank you so much for everything that you brought forward in your comments after the proclamation. I like to highlight also that it includes Black Americans, which touches me in a special way because my heritage is Haiti. My parents were born in Haiti and they migrated to America in the 80s. And what's interesting is that in Haitian history, one of the things that we learned very early on is that Haitians fought in America's Civil War and we have independence here. And what was learned here was what the people in Haiti took back and won their independence in 1804. And so we have a very rich history here in America, and I love that we get to celebrate all of it this month.
All right, moving on in our agenda, we have one declaration on today's agenda recognizing American Heart Month to raise awareness of cardiovascular disease and encourage action for heart health. We urge everyone to learn hands-only CPR and to download the PulsePoint Respond and PulsePoint AED apps to receive alerts about nearby cardiac emergencies here in Clay County. You can read the full declaration attached to the meeting agenda. I'd like to recognize constitutional officers. I see Sheriff Michelle Cook. You have anything for us today? I'm putting you on the spot. I do want to ask you about something since you're here, real quick, if that's okay. It's a positive thing. Positive thing. Sue, I'll use a point of privilege. I was going to mention it in my commissioner comments, but since you're here, I think it's great for our community and commissioners. So on Sunday in Fleming Island, we had a minor young girl that ran away from home, and we were able to find her. One of the things that I was kind of learned through that process was Clay County's emergency response is an all hands on deck approach, not just with the sheriff's office, but fire rescue. I thought that was awesome. I didn't know that that was our protocol. Can you kind of tell us how that works?
Sure. And so when we have somebody that we consider a young or tender age, which is typically 12 and under, or somebody who's got mental capacity challenges, or an elderly person, when they go missing and they are not historically runaways, this young person had not, as far as we knew, had run away before. So we went off the premise that maybe she had been picked up by somebody. We deploy what's called our incident management team, and that includes members of the Clay County Sheriff's Office, Clay County Fire Rescue, Clay EM, and we respond as a team. And what that allows us to do is systematically and methodically search for people based upon their age, based upon their physical characteristics. Can they walk? Are they on a bike? This young lady had a bike, stuff like that. And our incident management team is fantastic at organizing the resources for a very deliberate and methodical search. And we are fortunate because we have found everybody that we've been looking for.
Awesome. Yeah, on behalf of the commission and our county, just great job, and we all are in very good hands.
Thank you.
Which is
I
important.
appreciate that, and I'd like to give out a shout out to the incident management team. These are our incident management team is made up mostly of civilians that work civilian jobs for us, and so they're behind the scenes. They're usually not out. The deputies are deployed, but it's very much dependent upon the incident management team's objectives and directives. So they do a good job behind the scenes.
Awesome. Thanks, Sheriff. Let's see any other constitutionals. Clerk Green couldn't make it, but Mr. Dingle, you got anything for us? Good to go? All right. Awesome. Very good. I'll move on to our approval of minutes for the Board of County Commissioners meeting for January 27th, 2026, and I'll entertain a motion.
Yeah, I'd like to move to approve the Board of County Commissioner meeting minutes from January 27th, 2026.
Got a motion from Commissioner Renninger,
Second.
second from Commissioner Condon. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. We're going to move on to our public comment portion of the meeting. This portion of the agenda is designed to allow our citizens an opportunity to bring matters to the attention of the board. At this time, the board will not engage in debate or answer questions. You may email askclay@claycountygov.com and staff will address your questions, or you may email your district commissioner. Public comment cards are conveniently placed at the meeting room entrance. It should be submitted to the clerk on the far left of the dais. You are to limit your comment to 3 minutes, please. And before addressing the board, please state your name and address. Our first speaker tonight will be Miss Helena Cormier.
Hello, my name is Helena Cormier. My address is on file, and I just, of course, always want to say thank you for everything that y'all are doing. I'm on the Rolling Hills CDD, many of y'all know that, and we've had some issues with some of our development and some of the PUD and different information. I've got some documents here that I'm going to leave with y'all as we do have our CDD meeting tonight. But one of the comments that were made at our meeting back in December was that a PUD is a county document, and us as a CDD board cannot hold a developer accountable for developing the PUD according to plan. I did not understand that comment, and so I asked for clarification from our attorney, and they've sent me different emails, and I finally got one more response today at 2:29 before our meeting tonight. And so, as you can about imagine, my displeasure of not having adequate time to actually email any of y'all is frustrating. But I will continue to stand, I will continue to do what I can, and I will continue to press on. Um, and I do have to leave here as close to 5:20 as possible. And so I am the chair for the Citizens Advisory for the Lake Asbury Penny Farms, and that is one of the items that are before y'all at the time certain 5 o'clock. So hopefully I will still be here to answer any questions on that. But if I'm able to leave this for y'all to kind of look through, I would greatly appreciate it, and I will try to get copies emailed.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Elena. Our next public comment is Mr. Scott Slater.
Good evening, Commissioners. Scott Slater, Keystone Heights resident since November 11th, 1985. Me and my wife, Becky, moved to Keystone when we were 18 years old. We've raised our children there, and my 3 grandchildren are Clay County students, so very vested in the community. I'm here representing Save Our Lakes organization in support of your agenda item number 5 for Lake Geneva restoration. I encourage you to vote yes and approve that item. A lot of work has been, a lot of work has been put in to the effort of Lake Geneva restoration. A little background in that, and the reason for the need of the restoration is because the aquifer recharge pipeline, which is put in place to recharge our Floridan aquifer and resupply the drinking water. The benefit of that is it returns our Keystone Lakes, Brooklyn, and Geneva to their historic levels before the aquifer drawdown started affecting those. To put this Geneva restoration project in perspective, the Lake Geneva has not been at a full stage or even a normal stage since the mid-1970s. Most of the residents that currently own around that lake have never seen it at a normal level. The aquifer recharge pipeline will restore our lake levels according to the models and the districts to levels that we haven't seen, and it will maintain those levels probably within about a 3-foot interval from low water to mean to high. I want to give special thanks to some of your staff, Richard Smith in the engineering department and Kathy Smith in the purchasing department. They've worked very hard at getting this agenda item before you for approval. Karen was very instrumental in providing a bid on the street that we now have that's awardable. It was a long, drawn effort to get us to this point. I apologize if I run a little long.
Oh, you're good.
To put this in perspective, Lake Geneva is at about 92 feet right now, and the Geneva restoration is for all of the state land below 102.9. When we see the impacts of the pipeline, the new low water mark on Geneva is 99 feet. The mean is 100.9 feet, and the high is 102.9. All of the trees that are harvested in that Geneva restoration are at 102.9 and below. And so if we do not do this restoration, those trees will all die and we'll have dead timber in the lake bed or in the full body of water. So this is a safety matter as well as a restoration matter. And so please, on behalf of SOLO's almost 600 members, on behalf of the 430 residents who received a letter from SOLO addressing this project from the beginning, please vote yes to approve this.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Dot Murphy. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Dub Murphy. I'm sorry, sir.
Thank you. I'll do my best to stay within the time frame, although anybody that knows me knows that's very difficult to do because I usually not given a time frame. But anyway, I'm here today to represent residents on Kingsley Lake. Specifically to thank the board and more specifically to Commissioner Condon for her support 2.5 years ago when we first brought this up to you, was brought up to you about a group that we got together that talked about what was going on with the lake and whether or not there was some degradation and what could be done about it. And you all approved a testing by your engineering firm, which has now finally come to pass a couple of weeks ago, 2.5 years later, which is somewhat questionable, but we know that Kingsley Lake is a jewel to the state of Florida. It's been considered that for a long time, and online or wherever you want to look for it. Even in 1990, it was declared an outstanding Florida waterway by the state of Florida, of which there are only several lakes in the whole state that have that designation. And at that time, it was pretty much stated that it could not be allowed to deteriorate further than it was at that moment, which we think it has. Now, that's my first thing, is thank you. Number two is the report itself. The report itself is rather vague and complex. It's hard to read, hard to understand. We're going to do our best to continue to do that, to get some help with that. The analysis basically was that the lake does not meet impaired lake standards set by the state, but it seems to have more terrestrial impact from stormwater runoff and fertilizer and things of that sort, rather than man-made septic tank input for nutrient growth. Unfortunately, there were some errors in that report, and there's also they never take into effect any anecdotal comments from any longtime residents that have lived on the lake or been in the lake for many, many years. I won't give away my age, but I've been in the lake for a long time, and I've seen the difference. But anyway, and our plan for the future is to try to regroup the group that we had in August of 2023 to discuss the future options, and our research, and with our consultants that we are actually engaged financially with. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker is Doug Conkey.
Doug Conkey here in my role as a Water Management District person, 7775 Bay Meadows Way, Jacksonville, Florida, 32256. Look, we're in the same color. What are the odds? I'm just here, as you've heard, talk about Lake Geneva. I just want to kind of give you this was an operation that we started, well, the instigator, the motivator, sitting right here. She's been so successful with her team to get this project, as well as the Black Creek project, to this point, which is the best phase of our project, execution. You have that on your agenda later on. So it's a great team effort, from initial discussions to working the complexity of permitting. And permitting on state submerged lands is not a simple task. Developing a plan of implementation, and now the funding and the bids to execution. I just want to point out a few key people that played essential parts in its success. Christine Wenzel from the Water Management District, she was the key permitter in getting the permit on state submerged land, so she played a critical role in getting this project to moving forward. James Booth, who started as a consultant and then now is the newly minted city manager down in Keystone, and that's an awesome get. That's a first round draft pick right there. His leadership through all the meetings we've had, and we meet on a weekly basis, have proved critical in making this move smoothly and getting everybody's inputs, working with all the staffs. So hats off to James Booth and his leadership. High future for Keystone Heights with him there. Karen, the Jedi warrior of bid and financing. I always say when we got stuck in the mud, I said, talk to Karen. She knows how to get us to the finish line. Richard and his staff, he's the operations guy, puts this thing together, executing it. So big hats off to Richard and his staff. Vivian and Scott, as I mentioned, are the motivators for the group. And then obviously there is Commissioner Condon with whose leadership we wouldn't ultimately be here. So we appreciate all you've done. Oh, and then one side thing is because of this, we know we're in a drought. Earlier today, our board took some action to address that, and we have incurred a phase 1 water shortage in counties Alachua, Bradford, Baker, Duval, and Marion. So basically, you're west, north, and southwest around us. So we'll basically be asking for voluntary reducing of water use, review your water conservation plans that were approved as part of the consumptive uses permits. So that's basically the utilities. So we'll be chatting with them, and then enhancing communication with users, your citizens, your companies, your planners, and so forth. And there are 4 phases that this could go to. We don't want to get to those because then voluntary starts turning into mandatory. So we're still looking good. Basically, what was briefed is 3 months probably of dry weather, and most likely clays might make that list next month as well. So everybody, conserve your water, cherish it, and hopefully we'll get through this. Maybe we change from red, which is deep drought, on a color sheet, we go to navy blue, which means water. Thank you.
Thanks, Doug. Next speaker is Teresa Sanday.
Hi, my name is Teresa Sanday. Address is on file. I'm in Florida born, Clay County resident for 40 years, and my husband and I have raised 4 kids between us and 8 grandchildren. We raised all of our kids and grandkids on the premise that all humans are created equally, and that they themselves had nothing to do with their chosen color of skin, size of their body parts, noses, or any other physical abilities or attributes. This is not rooted in any faith, although I believe that's where I initially learned it. It's rooted in the common knowledge that you can't be mad or hate somebody for something they had nothing to do with and cannot change. Nothing about Republicans have done to our country is rooted in any common sense or human compassion. Like my commissioner, you ignored over 500 cars a day down a neighborhood road with no sidewalks. Actually, what you did do was shoot the messenger. I'm glad all of you, except for one, are choosing not to run again. You've done nothing but damage. I voted for one Republican in this last election who I felt had a maternal barometer. I believe it has failed her. We made a big to-do about white supremacist flyers left in yards 5 years ago. Today, CCSO is working alongside these flyer distributors with masks and body armor, terrorizing the citizens. The evolution from Save the Children to Essay the Children will be a conundrum for historians and your descendants. Be kind and protective to all children and believe them when they describe things that no child should ever know or endure. I haven't changed. My message hasn't changed. And no one will turn it into what your party despises me for. Thank you.
All right. Any further public comment? Seeing none, I'm going to move on to our consent agenda, items 4 through 9 for tonight's meeting. Would any commissioners like to pull any items?
I'd like to pull item number 5.
Okay, Commissioner Ranger, number 5.
I'd like to pull item number 7, please.
Commissioner Condon, item number 7. Any further items? I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda for items 4, 6, 8, and 9.
5.
4, 6, 8, and 9, right?
No, 5.
Yeah, you're pulling 5.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Approved 4, 6, 8. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Got it.
Okay. We have a motion by Commissioner Compere,
Second.
second by Commissioner Condon. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Okay, let's start with number 5. Commissioner Ranger.
Yes, I pulled this because I've looked through the RFP, and I have questions about the RFP as it specifies, the contractor is only going to remove some of the trees within the areas, the basic bid area and the 5 alternate areas. And what the RFP alludes to is any tree which is less than 4 inches of diameter will remain there. And so the contractor is not going to remove them, or he's not going to be paid to remove them. So I'd just like to clarify that. And also the cost, who's bearing the cost? I know we have a grant, and I'd just like to know the cost of the project.
Yes, sir. So I have Richard to back me up if I say something wrong here, but, so just to give a little history, back in May of 2025, we entered into an interlocal with the city of Keystone, and at that time, they were gonna handle the bidding of the project and go ahead and get it started. At the same time, we had an application, or we were asking legislative to support us with a $250,000 grant. So City of Green Cove went out to bid. They got one bid back, and it was $1,648,000. That was to clear everything in all of the priority areas that's in your backup. Of course, we couldn't move forward because no one had that much funding to move forward with the project. So since that time, we received the grant that came to the board to sign December 10th. The county issued the bid at the time to see if we could generate more interest through our OpenGov, and because we had the funding source from the state in the county's name. We did get 2 bids. Happy to say the bids came in a little bit better. We had one low bid, and then the high bid was above the Keystone's price. With the rebid, we evaluated how could we get the price down with this committee that you've heard from this afternoon during the public comments. So with that, it was decided to leave those trees at the size, the 4-inch and less. It still fell within the permit application and what we could do for the project. The project set up to have volunteers go out and do some help also. So that's part of the award, is we're accepting that alternate on some of the phases, and then also bring in volunteers to help with the other phases to remove those smaller trees and do cleanup. Working with the city of Keystone and the Save the Lakes folks, they have a good support team, so we feel like our volunteers can go out and remove those.
I'm looking at small trees over total 300 and some acres. That's a lot of work for volunteers. And the other thing is, we're working with the environment here. It's not static, it's dynamic. So there will be trees growing, and the lakes, I don't know what's the target fill date?
Probably about,
Mother Nature answered question.
4 to 8 years,
no, probably 2 to 3 is what we're expecting.
2 to 3. I mean, you're gonna have some growth during that 2 to 3 year period. This grant's gonna take 3 months, 4 months to execute this contract, possibly.
We hope to get them started in March, middle of March.
And then 4 months.
Yes.
Okay. Well, anyway, we're gonna get growth between now and 2 years or 4 years, whatever it is. So I guess what happens then, I guess, is my question. Is the growth, are we going to continue to clean the growth?
No, I don't expect that we would have to. I mean, keep in mind what Scott said about these in the last 50 years, these have grown up. And so they're full. What we're really concerned about are the full-size mature pine trees.
Right.
And then falling and being so tall. And I recognize that, pine trees mature in 12 to 15 years, but that's not the real issue. Like cutting off the density and the locations that was in the backup, especially from the county boat ramp that would connect to the large big lobe of the lake, that is so dense that by cutting that, even the underbrush, we also have talked about at some point engaging the Water Management District. Doug has been a great partner on Water Management District lands, which this is sovereign submerged state-owned land. They'll come in and do their controlled burns. Like today, they couldn't do that. It's just too much. But when you've left just all the scrub, they could. And so there's some things like that actually would help the fish. Lake Geneva is considered one of the best, what used to be one of the best bass fishing lakes in the area. When Kimberly Morgan was here, she got requests for bass fishing tournaments in there, but obviously we couldn't accommodate it at that time. But that's how you connect. That's the only public boat ramp. So like that area is and then there's a couple other areas of dense trees.
So, and the other thing is, you know, the trees that we're gonna cut down, whomever is gonna cut the trees down, we're gonna leave them on site and burn them, is that?
There's
that's the
some
plan?
that they will take to harvest, that they accounted for in their bid numbers, I'm sure, but, yeah, some of the trees would
I'm
be burned
surprised
on
that
site.
doesn't contaminate the lake, actually, I don't know.
They do have to, so what they're gonna do is, what the permit requires is they don't take the roots out.
Right.
So they cut it at ground level, and they only want the ones they can sell for lumber, you know, that are worth something. And so they also have to leave, even if they burn on site, they have to leave it in the condition that they found it. So like they have to remove the ash that they can.
And then just to clarify, the funding, we have a $250,000 grant
Yes, sir. So they,
to cover the whole cost.
that's correct. So the county has 154,467 remaining in our Keystone Heights Lakes project budget.
You found some money, huh?
It's been there. It's been there. And then we have the $250,000 grant. We were excited to hear that Keystone last Monday at their board meeting approved applying $41,000 towards the project. So speaking of the bass fishing and things that this opportunity may have, we do plan to approach the TDC on March 4th and asked if they would show some support to the last two phases of the project. And then also the fifth phase, Area 5, would benefit Bradford, so we're going to have a conversation with them as well. So moving forward with the award, the way the award is set up is that we would be able to issue task orders. So we'd be able to do the first 3 task orders with the funding that we have. And then if the TDC doesn't approve, or Bradford, or we just can't do the last 2 priority areas, then we've at least accomplished some of the project.
And also Solo, Save Our Lakes has money that they, has your board voted?
No, not yet.
Okay, their board has not voted yet, but they have money that they would like to ask their board to vote, which almost all of them are here, So to put towards the project as well. And the one she talked about, Project 5, is 3 acres, I think it is.
3 acres.
And it's completely in Bradford County. And I remember as a teenager, I don't know that I remember too far back from that, but I remember Lake Geneva being full. So I guess that makes me, now you can figure out my age. But at any rate, I never remember that lobe connecting. So it would be a bonus for those people, but if Bradford doesn't want to participate, you know, then we'll have to reevaluate at a future date that they could do. Bradford County could act under our permit with our permission, with Richard's.
I guess what I want to do is summarize that this is a huge project, and it goes back years. And you know, you kick the project off, and it's going to require coordination, collaboration with numerous counties. And I see Commissioner or Councilman Ludwig's back there. First day on or first several meetings, you're doing some good work down there. But it's not the end. I mean, we have a long way to go to get back to where we want it, and it's going to take the continued efforts on everybody's part. So, with that, I'll make a motion that we approve item number 5.
Thank you. I'll second your motion.
We've got a motion for approval and a second. Any further discussion from the commissioners?
I just wanted to, I echo Commissioner Renegar's sentiments. I was reminiscing with Vivian and Scott. Vivian and I, on a very cold early March day 3 years ago, were out on the lake bed in UTVs. I convinced her to ride with me on a UTV. She may never do that again. She got fully soaked, but we were out on the lake bed looking at it and thinking, what are we going to do? And so here we are.
She said if we didn't approve it tonight, she might cry, so I don't want her to cry. But it's been a long journey, but. And some people may have negative things to say, you know, we're under a drought. We haven't, you know, we're like 17 inches below. Doug talked about it in his comments. So some people may say we're foolish to do this. It actually is a good time to do it, because when we first started this almost a year ago, when we started this, I guess that would be 6 months ago when Jamie started this for us, we were in a race against time. Water was kind of flowing in, and one of the things contractors had said in the pre-bid was they wouldn't remove the trees from the water. So it's really a good time while it's dry to do it correctly and not have any ill effects. But anyway, I just thank you.
Can I add one comment to that? It's twice as expensive to remove the timber once they're in water.
Oh, yeah, I bet. I wouldn't want to do it.
No, yeah, thank you very much to everyone that's involved. Councilman Ludwig, that's a great appropriation you're giving to the project and the team down in Keystone. And I think personally, and I can't speak for the entire TDC, but you know, filling Keystone's lakes is huge for Clay County, not just for the residents that live there, but for the county as whole. That gives us a whole nother. I see Teddy Meyer, the tourism director back there, and yeah, come on up real quick. I just think it's important for our community to understand how important this project is and the economic impacts it could have moving forward for our community too.
Afternoon, Teddy Meyer, Tourism Director. Just to echo the sentiments, I mean, we've hosted MotoSurf, motocross over the years. We've got groups that are looking at possible triathlons down there, some swimming, biking, road events. That just on the periphery, when you talk about the overall project and what it could bring, those are just small things. We haven't even tapped into it because we don't have the timeline yet of what else could happen. So, and I think in a place like Keystone, bit of a crown jewel in my opinion. So you can bring some things in there that can create impact, but again, keep the residents with the ability to kind of maintain their livelihood and the quality of life. So,
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, Councilman, come on up.
Thank you, guys. I don't want to take too much of your time. A lot of the points were already made. First of all, thank you to our Save Our Lakes team who has been really on this for a very long time. Vivian, I've known you forever, and as Betsy says, there's also a reason I'm wearing my red shirt today as well. To the point that he had brought up on the tourism side, we do get several nationally televised events that take place out there on that lake. Having the opportunity to clear the area along those nodes is extremely important. To the point that Commissioner Condon had made, that is the only major entranceway on Lake Geneva in Clay County. Right now, you can't get in from Clay County's own boat ramp. So that would be huge. And one of the concerns, I know we had previously talked about some funding to the point that the county brought up. The city, shout out once again to Commissioner Condon, who was at our meeting last week. The city committed every penny that is in our lakes budget, all $41,000 at that meeting last week to make this happen. The community support is extremely tremendous. Save Our Lakes can speak for it. Our local residents can speak for it. That's how much this project means to us. The last thing that I will say, because this will benefit the county, so 100 of the properties are in the city that are on Geneva, but roughly 300 are in the unincorporated portion of Clay County. Right now, a lot of those properties, when folks go to sell them, have taken a hit. Their property values are significantly down. So the increased water levels help boost property values, which in turn will also help boost revenue for the county. It effectively will pay for itself in the long term. So thank you guys for your time this afternoon. Appreciate y'all taking this under consideration.
Thanks.
Thanks, Brandon. All right, any further comments? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
We're going to move to our 5 o'clock time certain. This is item number 12, the first public hearing to consider. Oh, do that first, even though it's 5 o'clock? Okay. Sorry, it's my first one.
You got another minute.
Is it not? I got 5 o'clock. Attorney, what would you like for me to do?
Well, just on the five, I think that for the flow of the agenda, you should go ahead and do number 7.
Okay, awesome. We're going to stick with number 7, then we'll do our time certain, which is a continuance anyway. Okay, number 7, Commissioner Condon.
So we just had a really nice session, and then I'm gonna pour water on it, cold water on it. I spent some time with Ed this afternoon to understand what went on here. I'm just over
the bonded transportation programs and so much money. And the one road in my district, County Road 218, which is our only road of critical deficiency in the county, the project was significantly cut because we didn't have enough money. And now we can find $500,000 more. And Ed told me that this was in the budget, and I said, well, there's a guaranteed maximum price. And then he explained it all to me. And if any of you want him to come up and explain it to you, I'm sure that he will. I'm very, very frustrated. And this is not a knock on my fellow commissioners, and every one of us fight for our district. But I fight every day that District 4 is called, citizens say District 4 is the redheaded stepchild. And I say, no, this commission's different. They support, you just did. You supported projects in our district. But then they look at this, US 17 touches 3 districts. So it gets 3 votes when things are requested that feed into it. And nothing touches 218 except for District 4. And so I just keep hearing, but we don't matter. And that 218 the 218 widening has been going on. Carlos told us at one of our last meetings since 1994, and it's 2026. And so when residents of District 4 say the county doesn't care about them, we show it in these kinds of things. When this was a bonded, and I get it. I said to Ed, the bonded transportation program, not one of the 5 of us voted for. Not one of us. We were not on the commission. It was supposed to be a 5-year program. It's now going into its 7th year. It was supposed to be $120 million. It's now knocking on the door of $180 million. And so if you're on County Road 218 and you commute on County Road 218, you say, why don't you have the money? Why couldn't you widen what you said you were going to widen? And instead we're doing about half of what was said. So anyway, I'm very frustrated. I don't know that I can support this. And I just wanted to share my frustrations and speak on behalf of my residents. I don't use 218 every day to commute, but so many of my constituency does, and so many of our employees do. And so I just wanted to say that. But
Ed, can you come up, please? One of the questions I have about this item is, through my time on the commission, at least with the BTP, I've heard there's been times that DOT's contributed funds. How does that play into this sometimes?
Correct. Ed Dendor, Bond Transportation Program Administrator. At the very inception of the bond program, again, was roughly $130 million. And then you have interest on top of that, which rolls up to roughly $134 million. As we started down the process of implementing the program, the different roads were identified for design and improvements to those roads. So throughout the whole process, we had to identify what improvements would be made on those roads. Working with engineering and the various engineers, we rolled out the entire program as the years rolled on, if you would. Prices, of course, asphalt was more expensive. We'd bring back to the board the various changes. So that's where when we went from, call it the $134 million to $179 million currently is the budget for all the projects.
I guess my more point, I don't know if it's more Richard, I don't know if he'd be involved, but over your time working with the project, and I'm not putting you on the spot for an exact dollar amount, but does DOT give us money for these specific
Should
projects?
roll back to that. So
it's okay.
Throughout that whole process, as we look at, there's various funding streams. And again, the bond is part of that stream. Where FDOT, when we started down this project, conceptualizing it with FDOT, they came along and saw the importance of the tie-ins, and roughly $1.8 million were contributed to this project number 2, which is County Road 209. So yes, out of the various items in this change order that's on the docket for approval this evening, there are some items where, as we had designed and then started building our roadway that ties into US 17, FDOT would come along and say, well, in order for us to make our implementations that are going on 17, we need you to modify a sidewalk or a pedestrian crossing or whatever that might be. So again, this is kind of that delicate walk we do with FDOT. We're building our project and they're building their project, and again, we try to work through those modifications or changes between the two projects.
Okay. And Commissioner Condon, in no way am I saying that it's an equal dollar for dollar amount. I echo your frustration, from the inflationary pressures that as the BT project has commenced over 7 years. I mean, if you look at when year one to year now, it's probably double the cost in the past 7 years, which is extremely frustrating. I just knew that there were other contributors other than just the BTP dollars on the front end.
Correct. Yes, sir. Again, there's various funding streams for the overall program. And to Mr. Condon's point, again, it is a program. It started in 2020, early, right when COVID rolled out. There was a huge delay. I say huge, 6 months, which is huge for a 5-year program. And that was really difficult to get that large wheel spinning. And at the end of 2020 is really when the program started really rolling out. So 4.5 years later, we've had quite a bit of work done, design, permitting, just on talking with FDOT. Typically, the amount of time it took us to do the amount of work we've done so far is the amount of time FDOT would allow just to get the right-of-way squared away. Through this whole program, we've touched over 240 various parcels of having to set up license agreement, construction agreements, or outright purchases just to align the roads through the various improvements and expansions.
This wouldn't, I wouldn't say the final end of the project, but when would you say we're going to get to a point where it's the budgeting for the BTP is kind of, that's where we're going to stop?
And it's essentially this year.
Okay.
You've got 2 more projects, and you'll hear in the update tonight, you have 2 more projects. Project 1, the one in Commissioner Condon's district, and Project 3B, Dr. Burke's district will be finishing up mid this year. And then Project 2, which this one is associated with, will be finishing up at the end of this calendar year.
Commissioner Ranger?
Yeah, I just, I don't think there's been any concerted effort to shortchange any district, but because we've had to value engineer a couple different projects. I remember a roundabout that we're not going to get, our Sand Ridge, and can you tell us all the modifications that were cut back because of budget?
Well, and there really hasn't been, call it cutbacks, but value engineering, we continuously do that, especially up front. We would bring basically in a bullpen the designers and the contractors and lean and push on each other when we have a concept, let's say at 30%. And that's the love of having both on board before you get to a set price structure toward the end, like with a 90%. At 30%, you could say, is there something different we can do? Can we shift the road a little bit away from a commercial property and maybe, or can go this way? Or what about our ponding site? Can we shift the pond sites? And also, again, the alignment configuration. So we do go through that entire value engineering process up front.
But I guess my point is we've cut other projects. We've downsized other projects.
And we have, and this is working with, again, the county engineer, Richard, not to speak for him, but 2 of the areas of the roads that we're asked to look at, which is on County Road 220, and then as well as 315, which was, let's look at what's really needed now, basically on the road, the vehicular count. And then let's go ahead and, again, work on the real estate, work on the design, get this project queued up for when the road does need the expansion, then everything's in place to move that forward. You're not starting out from ground zero. So well, again, with those, you have the right-of-way, you have the design, and the project ready to go.
Thank you.
But that minimizes my comments, and that's my whole point. The project of the only road of critical deficiency in the entire county is County Road 218, and the project was cut in half, was it not? There's no other project that was cut in half, none. There was the project with the Russell Road and the third lane in the middle, and then Richard told me that TPO did a study and said it wasn't needed, and so that's why it was cut. And so that's not true with County Road 218.
In 218, we had a difficulty up front with the original. That was a design build, the original design build. The designer failed us. Michael Baker failed the county. They would not finish the design, so we had to take a step back. And at that time, we were afraid we wouldn't even be able to get anything done on County Road 218. Again, because of the time constraints. Again, the time was the most difficult part for us, as well as escalating prices for asphalt and other commodities. We really had to really jumped through a lot of hoops to be able to get what we could design on County Road 218 and actually get the 4 lanes, roughly about a mile or so of that project completed.
I think that what this, for me, I did have conversations with county staff for similar reasons. I am very much uncomfortable with making change orders at $500,000 this far into a process. And that came up when I was first apprised of this change order. But what I think frustrates me the most, setting aside your inflationary constraints or the changes post-COVID, it is difficult to justify a $50 million increase. That's all that, for me, that's what this boils down to. That makes it very uncomfortable. And for the sake of the public that is constantly criticizing our ability to navigate fiscal responsibility, it's not lost on at least one commissioner that these changes are very expensive. And so I have to say that thanks are in order to county staff, because every time I get one of these, as much as I push back in our meetings, I'm always assured that the staff is of one mind in where we can put pressure, we do. But I think that it's also very important that even though those conversations are being held in our briefings, that those who are working on these projects know that we are watching it very closely, and we're having to evaluate relationships moving forward, because I cannot justify $50 million in changes on a project that is over cost and over the timeline. Like, that's just not, we had expectations, those expectations have not been met. And I think it's disingenuous to continue to blame COVID. I'm just gonna say it. I do not think that 2020 prices, yes, we had some inflationary increases, but to say that a $50 million increase is going to be COVID specific and only COVID is misleading the public, and I don't buy it. I don't buy it. And I also know that baked in there somewhere are some of these disputes that you're going to share with us in your updates that also increase the cost. So for the sake of the public hearing these conversations, I hope that they're understanding that we're watching it, but I echo the frustrations that have been conveyed here this afternoon. I'm not in favor of a $500,000 change order, and it's important that we're all on the same page about how uncomfortable it is to be doing that, especially 2 years overdue on a project.
If I may, as far as aligning a COVID impact to a $50 million, and it's not an overrun, we would continually bring back our budget, our marching of call it $130 million of what we could fit within that budget, and how much work could we get done for that value. At the end of the day, we'd roll back in if you want to do more, if you wanted to add in lanes, you wanted operational improvements. This is the additional cost to that. At no point were we ever given a hard left turn. No, your hard mark is at 130 or 134 million with the interest. It was, we were able to find the additional money. We were able to roll in the ability to build the road and the design that we were after. So if it was understood that I'm saying $50 million is worth a 6 months delay in COVID, I apologize for making that call it leading statement. That's not my intent. My intent was, on a 5-year program, it really became a 4.5-year program is what I was trying to say with the COVID. That cut 6 months out of our ability to move in 5 years. But our 5-year mark was to spend $129.4 million in 5 years. I couldn't spend a penny less. I have to actually spend that. A lot of times with a project, you're given attaboys for bringing a project in under budget. With this, again, you have that, plus you have to spend more. So we'd always continue to retarget where are we at with that spend on the date. So again, I just wanted to kind of make sure I didn't construe the COVID delay with, again, as you said, $150 million over budget. To me, it was never over budget. We've been on budget. We've been on the targeted advertised budget of $179 million for the last, gosh, I don't know what, 2-3 years now. So it's not all of a sudden it went up 50 million now.
And I would also say too, if you did look at pricing from 2020 till now, that's 130 million to 180 million is about a 72% increase. There's a lot of things in the world that have increased 72% since 2020. It's very possible. It's just at scale. It's in the millions, but it's still percentage wise, it's a 72% increase. The additional dollars that were not part of the bonded transportation, does that come from CIP?
There's multiple funding sources. Again, I don't have the list in front of you, but the last count, I think there's like 9 different revenue sources that it comes from, including CIP.
Commissioner Ranger?
Ed, could you review, what's before us is a $500,000 change order from the request of FDOT and CSX. Could you explain what this change order is?
Yeah. Well, on the FDOT, if you look at the attachment B, I think is the way it's labeled B. There's Exhibit 1, Exhibit 1. They're labeled 1 through 17. Items 2, 3, 11, and 13 are all FDOT required. Again, this was the collaboration between us working at County Road 209 and connections with US 17. The total value for that is $112,982.28, if you took each one of those into consideration. There are a couple that were cost savings where we were able to pull a couple of things out of the project. Again, we have inspectors full-time on the job site monitoring the quantities that go in and the quantities that aren't used. So again, we had areas where handrail was no longer needed, or again, revisions to the temporary traffic control plan. We were able to save $68,000 on those for items 14 and 15. And on a couple of these, to be quite honest, there was we call it errors and omissions. There was Jacobs, which was the designer for this project, had some issues with their design, so we've already put them on notice to be able to go in and reclaim or recall, basically being able to recoup monies back from them. But at the end of the day, we still have to pay, but then we've got to go back against Jacobs to get that back. And that value is roughly $132,165 if we can come to terms with those. But with each one of these, there is a short, again, description, if you would, for each one of the items, whether it's an unforeseen item. Unforeseen, for example, would be an under drain where the contractor's out there digging and he comes upon basically a drainage system that wasn't in the plans. Nobody knew it was there. There's no way to know it's there until you start digging it up. And that's the the difficult part of about a roadway job. You just don't know what's below the ground. Just like you look at the ocean, you have no idea what's below the water until you put your head underneath it and you see the sharks and the barracudas and the coral reef. These are coral reefs that you'd run into. And again, each one, I'm not going to read each one to you, but does that kind of help work your way through each one of the items?
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any further discussion? I'll entertain a motion on item number 7.
I'll move approval.
I'll second. I think just one final comment for me is that, in this particular instance, FDOT is covering, at least it sounded to me, they're covering the change order and then some for this specific project. So, and I think, the commission's done a really good job of letting staff know where we stand on it. They can then take that to the contractors and, let them know that this definitely, for sure, will not be a common occurrence. All right, no more discussion, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries 3-1. Thank you very much. All right, we're headed to time certain. Item number 12. This is the first public hearing to consider transmittal of Comp 25-0015 in District 5 with Commissioner Burke. Doty.
The applicant has requested this item be continued. We defer to her for reasoning, but that's the request. I can present it for you if you would like, or if you want to hear the applicant first.
We can hear the applicant, that'd be fine. And then we'll still do the public hearing since we advertised it.
Yes.
Good evening. I'm Susan Fraser, SLF Consulting, 3517 Park Street in Jacksonville. And we're here this evening asking for a continuance. There was quite a juggling of the schedule to accommodate both Commissioner Burke's schedule and other items that were potentially on your agenda at the next meeting that have now been deferred to March. And so we would like to have a robust conversation. We went to the CAC, we've met with the Planning Commission, and we worked hard with the staff. And we think we have a really good project to present to you, and we would like to include Commissioner Burke in that discussion. So at your pleasure, we would like to continue this to the February 24th.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Very much. At this time, since it is a public hearing, I'd like to open the public hearing if there's anyone that would like to speak on the item. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and bring it back to the commission for a motion.
I'll make a motion. Continue.
I'll second.
A motion from Commissioner Renninger to continue, and a second from Commissioner Compere. Any
To
discussion? Oh,
To the February
Sorry.
24th meeting.
the motion is to,
That's what I meant.
I heard you. The motion's to continue to the February 24th meeting. We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's continued. Thank you. All right, this moves us back to number 10, discussion and updates, progress report on the bond and transportation program and other capital projects by our capital projects team.
I'll go ahead and get started with the bond transportation program. Good evening, Ed Dendor, Transportation Program Administrator. Richard's coming up here for a sec to join me. We'll get started with project number 1, County Road 218 in Commissioner Conan's district from Masters Road to Pine Tree Lane. The county team and Anderson Columbia continued our bi-monthly status meetings. Anderson continued the installation of the drain structures, pipes, sub-base, base materials along the north side of the project. And the project is the schedule is under evaluation by the project team for a potential adjustment. The project is 64% paid out. For project number 2, County Road 209 east of the railroad track. Traffic continues flow on the north side of County Road 209 while Superior continued the installation of the sub-base, base material, installation of storm drain pipes on the south side of this section of road. Traffic was switched west of the railroad tracks to the newly asphalted southbound outside lanes. The project is on schedule with 71% paid out and 60% of the time used. On project 3B, Sandridge Road, County Road 209, which has a swoosh in the roundabout at 209B, the county, GAI, and Kiewit held their bi-monthly status meetings. Kiewit continued the installation of their stormwater structures, stormwater pipes, curbing, sub-base, base materials in the roundabout area, while placing sodding and fencing around the Sandridge Road pond site. The project is 71% paid out, while the overall project schedule still remains in dispute by both parties. For projects 5, which is County Road 220, and project 6A, which is County Road 315, the plan sets for both projects will be signed and sealed once the permits are issued by the Army Corps. Bond transportation projects 3A, 4, and 6B have been completed. In support of all this work, WGI continues to work on the project and the program as far as project management and inspection services. As of February 3rd, the program has expended $151 million. That concludes the bond transportation update. Any questions?
Any questions for Ed about BTP?
Just, your notes say 151?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think on the actual, what you have is approximately, because I didn't have the definitive number by
gotcha.
that time. Reg and the project team were collaborating on numbers, to make sure we have the right number. That is 151.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yeah, part of that is because we have to have the report
Ahead of time.
a week ahead of time, so I have to give you the right number. Moving forward, going to switch hats here to the capital projects with an update from the 6 directors. Richard Smith to my right of engineering, Eric Pope, Director of Public Works, Justin Pierce, the Director of Parks and Rec, Gene Price, the Director of Facility Operations and Maintenance, Eric Jones, the Director of Ground Maintenance, as well as myself, Director of Capital Projects. Overall, the county, the current project list consists of 262 projects. The project data was compiled by Veronica Dang, our capital projects control specialist. In general terms, there's 59 direct purchases, 46 furnish and installs, and 157 true projects that take into consideration a conceptualization, design, permitting, and final construction of the project. All 262 projects, or items if you would, equal $209,642,722 as found in Workday. This fiscal year, Capital Projects Department is managing 81 different projects across 13 different departments, accounting for roughly $95 million of the total budget. For the overall status of the Public Safety Bond Program, so far to date, the county has spent $14.65 million, or roughly 22% of the $65 million. Again, this is another program that you have to spend $65 million and 1 cent. You don't get an attaboy for bringing a project in ahead, or a program in under that. And now, to highlight a few of the design and construction vertical projects, first up is the Fire Station 24. The project involves the design, permitting, and construction of a new 4-bay fire station located off of US 17 on County Road 220. The design is 100% complete and is advertised for construction. Bid was issued January 22nd. We are now in the cone of silence for the project. A full gopher tortoise survey was conducted, which identified 31 burrows and 20 tortoises, all of which were successfully relocated. To comply with FEMA requirements to address any concerns of the impacts of the habitat of the potential tricolored bat, all trees have been removed prior to February, which is a successful milestone. This project is on schedule for completion in spring of 2027. Next up is the improvements to the solid waste materials recovery facility. This project consists of renovations made to the existing facility, which includes construction of a new bunker walls, new push walls, roof replacement, lighting upgrades. The construction is now substantially complete, and the project is currently in closeout phase. Now, there's our new shiny sister building next door, just to the south of us, referred to as the Economic Development Complex. The project consists of design, permitting, and constructing a new 2-story, 34,000 square foot building that will accommodate the county's economic development staff. The project is currently 6 weeks behind due to extended manufacturing lead times for the arched windows, leading to a revised substantial completion date of March 11th. The first floor interior finishes are nearing completion, which includes but not limited to flooring, lighting, and fixtures, while the second floor interior finish work is roughly 1 week behind the first floor. And then there's the improvements to the drainage at the Eagle Harbor Sports Complex. The project consists of repairing portions of the existing stormwater management system and constructing new drainage structure and piping on the roughly 8.5 sports complex. The project is located at 4387 Lakeshore Drive on Fleming Island. The installation of the drainage structure was recently completed while the contractor is finishing up the final grade. The project is currently 85% complete. And last for capital projects is the build out of the unfinished gray space for the Clay County Sheriff's Office in the 500 building. The project consists of building out much-needed training space, conference room, and office space for the Sheriff's Department. The project is, design is complete, and the project is anticipated to go out for bid by the end of this month. And that'll enter the cone of silence for the entire team. With that, I'd like to turn over the floor to Richard Smith for the roadway and trail project update.
Real quick, before Richard starts, what would you say the percentage is complete of the animal services building?
I would say we're about 70%, roughly 70%. If you've
Nice.
driven by it, you know,
Yeah,
we got the fence up around the pond, we got the walls up, roof on. You still got a lot of dirt, you got a lot of interior materials moving in, but it's, I'd say, again, roughly 70%. Off the top of my head, I don't have the number.
Awesome. You have anything? Okay, Richard, go ahead, sorry.
Richard Smith, County Engineer. Updating, we're coming to the final stages on a few projects, including our County Road 220 bridge replacement and 4-laning from Nightbox Road to Hollers Place. It's changed a lot. Traffic shift took place earlier this week, or last week, and we've got traffic now on what will eventually be the eastbound 2 lanes of 220 from Henley Road to Joe Johns Road currently. That project is in its own schedule to be completed in the summer. The bridge will follow shortly behind it. Live Oak Lane, we've got everything cleared up from the utility standpoint with our friends at Clay Electric. And depending on weather conditions, it's warming up a little bit this week. We should get that paved here in the next 2 weeks. There'll still be some ditch work to do up on the northern end. So even though we'll have a paved road and it'll be a lot of speed out there, Sheriff's Department knows about that. Please be careful. There'll be some roadside work on a paved ditch between the road and Fox Meadows that drains off to the north. Radar Roads pre-construction meeting was conducted last week on the 4th, on Wednesday. The drainage structures have been ordered and work should commence in March. That'll be it's a 390-day project with substantial completion in 345 days. We're looking to hopefully have that open around this time next year. Should go relatively smooth. I'll give you updates that goes. There's some interesting maintenance of traffic. The north end the south end of the roundabout will be constructed, everything closed off. That'll be opened up, and the north end will be completely closed off and accessed from the south by the church and the school. That'll happen as the project continues. It'll be very important to listen to your updates, get on your Clay Connect, because that will change your route to home if you live there, or church if you worship there. So, Long Bay and Old Jennings, we held a pre-construction meeting on that January 30th, and that is scheduled to begin in March also. That project is a very high peak hour AM and PM traffic generator. Please be careful. There's be a lot of work in that area. It's a 4-pole, full box design, meaning when the 4th leg of Long Bay Extension goes north, this signal is constructed, and all we'll have to do is hang heads and put a cabinet and turn it on. There are left turn lanes in all 3 directions that'll be installed. So it's going to be a lot of maintenance of traffic. We're going to get some video boards out there in the coming weeks to let folks know, but please plan accordingly. It's going to be, as Commissioner Compare and Condon know, it's near their districts. There are no alternate routes. So be patient, pack your patience when you're getting home as we start this project. The Town Center Boulevard project is completing today and tomorrow. The sod's being laid. We're hoping that everything checks out on the final paving testing. Should open the road up tomorrow or Thursday. And very, very major thanks to the Sheriff's Office. They did a great job in keeping us in a safe work zone. So thank you for that, and got finished a couple of weeks early. Starting another project that starts next week, the week after, is the resurfacing of 220 from 17 to just west of Brookstone Drive, where the Lakeshore Drive West signal was recently completed at our new fire station. That work will be done at night. Plan accordingly. There will not be any lane closures during the day. So that may take 3 to 4 weeks, but we'll get that taken care of. Spencer Drive is on schedule, should be finished in the next 4 to 6 weeks. The pavement is complete. We'll be striping it. They're using it. 218, the final pavement was put down, I think, yesterday. So that'll take some time to cure and be painted. And it's a very, very good job site, very well run. That construction company will be doing Radar Road. So we've had we've had some good contractors on board right now. A community block development update on our sidewalks. Logan Avenue, which is over in the Ridgeview High School area, that project is completing next week. It connects Blanding Boulevard with a new sidewalk to Harrison Avenue. And then from that, the contractor will be moving over to Choctaw Trail for a new sidewalk in the Rideout Elementary area that will connect Chief Rideout Trail to Apalachicola Boulevard. On the DOT side, it's pretty much the same. We're still waiting for work to be completed on that last 0 to 5% of the northern leg from Water Oak to Eagle Harbor Parkway. I'll look for that to Duval Asphalt anytime now. This week's a good week. Just, it's got to be 60 degrees for the type of pavement they're putting on that final topping there. The Wells Road intersection, Black Creek Bridge down here in front of our work. Work is going very well on it. They've kind of stopped at Garber Chevrolet and the Greenco Spring City limit. They will be shifting crews to come on south. So that's going well. You've noticed they are building the new traffic signal poles at Mahama Bluff and 209. Very good coordination with the Superior Construction Group that's finishing up Bond and Transportation Program number 2, as well as the folks from Duval Asphalt to coordinate that. There's a lot of moving parts there. Currently, that signal is under control of the Bond and Transportation Program. At some point, DOT's contractor on 17 will take over. So, Blanding Boulevard at Wells Road, no change. That's still on schedule to finish this summer. The Orange Park Northway project, that resurfacing project is complete. So if you don't get in the mess, go around the mall, you got a new half road. The road that we part that the county controls and owns is new. And 16, you'll be getting warnings for the next till December of this year. It's 330 days from January 5th. They're working. It's at night. We think they'll request to do some daytime work west of Penny Farms. We are coordinating. We have Jim Knight from the DOT coming in for a quarterly meeting in the conference room on the 3rd floor on the 24th, next Tuesday week. And we will make sure that we hopefully get confirmed the dates of opening for the ramps at 16. So that concludes the update. Do we have any questions? A lot of little projects.
Mr. Ranger? Yeah, but you tell Jim Knight I want to know about Eldridge on the 24th.
You are scheduled to be there from 10 to 10:30, so I'd prefer you to tell him directly.
Tell him that's a number one thing.
If you're not there, I will certainly pass that along with the vehicles, the equipment, the trash.
The vehicle they
everything.
moved, but the equipment, well, anyway, it's just.
So it's the project at the 295 interchange completion, so.
Mr. Conan?
So one question, either of you can answer it. So for the Economic Development Services building, and they have the lane closed, are there safety standards? Because either yesterday or Friday, I was almost in a head-on collision on there, and I had to pull into the cones. And it was because the people who are waving people on are so far apart, they don't have radios and they don't have flags. And so the one was holding up his hand a certain way, and she thought he was waving her,
And so they both let cars go. And so my question is, you said March 11th, like how much longer is that lane going to be closed? And is there a safety standard that they should be complying with?
Yeah, the safety standard, the MOT safety standard that they should be complying with and in place with, in accordance with FDOT standards. Again, as you see, the road closures on Wahlberg as well as on 17 for the left turn lane into Wahlberg. As far as flagmen, I guess, it sounds like they made an error. Obviously, the lack of coordination, but I'll bring that back up with our project manager as well as the Scorpio, the contractor that's on site managing that work. And that single lane closure south or northbound is due to the work they're doing on the facade, and that shouldn't go on much longer. I can get a time period. I would imagine within the next couple of weeks they should be done with that, with those high reaches that they're trying to get to the elevated portions of the second floor and the roof there. And I'll bring that up with them.
Yeah, the flagmen don't have flags.
You're on your own.
Okay.
And then they like yell at you when you drive by, like, I can't even see your hand. Like, what's going on here?
Right.
And then my other question, and I don't know who to ask this question of, but I've gotten several calls in the past few days about lack of water for over a week at a number of our county facilities and because of frozen pipes. And I don't even know who to ask that question of, but so it brought up the question to me of how many frozen pipes did we have? How much did repairs cost us? And how long have we gone in facilities without water? I know there's at least one still without water over a week. And if you follow me on Facebook, I had a pipe at my house that we thought we had contained. We didn't, and the repair was over $600. But it happened within, like I had a plumber out the next day. And they had to order a part. And the part came in the following day. So supposedly these parts are on order, but I guess I just don't really understand.
Ma'am, we'll have to get back with you on it. I mean, the numbers of pipes, there was at least somewhere around 10 facilities impacted with damage to pipes and that, but they quickly got back online. I know Justin had a couple of parks and that, obviously. And Justin, you want to come up and at least address the parks that were there? And what is the facility that you're being told is?
It's Twin Lakes Park, but I didn't think
Oh.
Justin did parks maintenance anymore.
And then Gene would have been here. He went home earlier with a stomach flu. He was feeling pretty rough. Or he would have been here.
Yes, ma'am. Justin Pierce, Director of Parks and Rec. The day after the freeze, we had Moccasin Slough, the gun range, the regional sports complex, and Twin Lakes and Little Rain Lake all had water leaks. And when we sent that work order in, we were told that there were 14 other that morning before we even sent in our 4 that was happening throughout the county. So I cannot speak for Gene Price and that workload, but we were 4 out of, I guess now 18 that he had that morning. So can't speak to the other work orders that came throughout the day, but Parks and Rec had 4 alone.
Well, I know that Fire Station 14 went a week without water, I was told. And I was also told that they are over a week at Twin Lakes. I just don't understand. So Gene's the only one who does these repairs, but then what does Parks Maintenance do, or Grounds Maintenance, or whatever? What do they do?
They replace irrigation heads and any grounds related, but any facility related issues, HVAC, plumbing, that's under Gene Price and facilities, ma'am.
I guess it would be nice to know when your facilities, so you're not caught off guard. I mean, can y'all just imagine what it's like to answer the phone and from a constituent who says we've gone a week without water and I don't even have a clue. And county staff knows this. I mean, how many facilities? You said 14 work orders, and then how many parks?
4 parks.
4 parks. That's a lot in the county. And then I guess my follow-up question to that, it really wasn't specifically about those 2 items, but then I thought, Tim's back there, like, and maybe it's with Gene, what is our plan? Like, how did this happen? We tell, for weeks on end, the TV news has been saying, cover your pipes, plants, pets, whatever, and we have all this that's left uncovered. It's very frustrating when we're in such a tight budget situation, and maybe my repair is $600 because it was residential and I don't have, so maybe it's county, but it's still parts, right? I don't know.
Mr. Leroy, sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, no, the fire stations, yeah, you just speak to that.
Commissioner, I'm not sure where you got the information about Station 14. The only station we had that had any cold water
effects was Station 26, and it was just a couple of the toilets in the station.
Okay.
None of our other stations were without water that I'm aware of.
Okay. Well, that's good. I
Yes,
mean,
ma'am.
but, you know, but I'd be interested to know where the other 14 were, but.
We'll provide an update.
Yeah, I will say that I do know that the facilities that we rent up in on College Drive, they had some water lines that ruptured there during the freeze, and the maintenance for the center there took care of those.
Thank you.
Hey, Ed, before you run off through the chair, can you provide an update on Station 1? There wasn't much.
Sure, yeah, matter of fact, last
That's a
month
great
was
segue.
1 and 22, an update on 1 and 22, which are fairly close. Station 1 is a little bit farther behind than 22. Again, if you've driven by, again, they're coming out of the ground, they got vertical walls going up. A lot of the groundworks is done, the pond is complete. Percentage-wise, I would say we're probably we're 20? Yeah, I'm thinking right around 20% complete. We're on schedule with both of those. We meet every other week with the contractor and the designer. Projects are moving along well. At 1, there was some issues with flushing of a hydrant that caused a little bit of a muddy mess. We jumped on that the next day, got the street sweeper out there, reestablished silt fence, and got on the folks that were doing that work. Again, if they have to flush the hydrant again, they know better to route it to the storm drain system, so they don't have that reoccurring. Does that kind of help? Again, there's 90 projects. We're just trying to pull a few every month to give an update on. But if you're looking for something different on the fire stations, let me know. And if that's something you want to hear every month, I'll work out some type of an update on that, other than just the dollars.
Awesome. Richard, I got so you mentioned 17 and 220. They're almost to the finish line. Do you believe that that's, and I will say personally, I appreciate the progress that has been made, because it was, for the longest time, it was, you were getting hit with all kinds of pebbles and all kinds of things from the debris. And to the naked eye, it looks like it's almost, it's pretty much buttoned up. What is the last, what's the last piece of the project to totally be done with it?
It'll be that final toppings. There's about a 1/4 inch of final asphalt topping that goes on. That'll sit for 2 weeks, and then you'll have the thermoplastic paint. The thing you'll notice the most is the striping.
Okay.
There will be some more guidelines or tracks to get you across 17. Got a big compliment today from a bike rider, cyclist from the Patterson Elementary area to get from there to the Black Creek Trail and go south. He no longer has to deal with the right turning traffic from 17 onto 220. And he really liked the way that design came out.
Nice.
Because that's a pretty used, and this was an older gentleman. That's a pretty heavily used bike path through there.
Infrastructure wise on 17, where 17 and 220 is, and if you're going southbound on 17, the double turn lane onto 220, all that's pretty much complete as far as infrastructure of the lights and the.
Correct. It's
and the
just to get, that'll be
median.
the final thermoplastic striping on it.
Okay, good deal. All right. Any further projects anyone would like to update on? All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, sir.
We're going to welcome Karen Smith from the Purchasing Department to give us an active and upcoming formal solicitations, item number 11.
Good evening again. So, I'm here to give you some more updates. First, we'll go over bids that have already been advertised. So we have our professional services for several different types of services that has been received. The bids were due in and opened on the 30th. These were for civil engineer, environmental, transportation, traffic engineer, planning, landscape, structural surveying, and geotechnical. So 41 firms responded for a total of 101 proposals. So those are under review now and scheduled to come before the board on March 10th. Our debris removal service bid is still out right now. Preventative generator maintenance bid is out. Moccasin Slough Boardwalk bids are out, and the construction of Fire Station 24 is out, which you just heard the update. We did have 58 different contractors attend the pre-bid meeting. Some appear to be subs, but we were happy for have that number of contractors attend the meeting. We have bids that we're currently working on. I've mentioned this before, we're working on replacement tile project for the Clay County Jail. That's close to going out. Carl Pugh drainage improvements, fire alarm upgrades at the county jail. There's a CDBG home rehab project that we're working on. Public safety shed purchase and install project. Stormwater pond mowing, our public safety complex P3. The Lakeview and Hilltop Dirt Road paving is going out very soon. Mosquito control program, our Town Center Boulevard Building 500 build out is going out really soon. You have Knights Marina and Lakeshore Park improvements. Adventure Park mitigation project, that's a FEMA project. Fairgrounds facility repairs, that's a FEMA project also. Those are both the result of Hurricane Debbie. We have construction, engineering, and inspection for the Sun Trail project and consulting services for our CDBG program. So between now and March, we hope to get those out on the street and advertised. Any questions?
Any questions for Karen? All right, thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
We're going to move down to item number 13, letters for action. We have an acceptance of resignation and appointment to the Middleburg Clay Hill Citizens Advisory Committee. Samuel Kilgore has submitted his resignation. So I'll entertain a motion.
Move approval. We thank Sam for his service.
Thank you, Sam. We have approval in a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Number 14, we have an acceptance of resignation.
Wait, go back.
Oh, I'm sorry.
John Barber.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've skipped one. Thank you.
Yeah.
Also under that, we have an application for appointment to the Middleburg Clay Hill Citizens Advisory Committee. John Barber has applied to be a member of that committee.
So if you remember, the way that I kind of have my citizen advisory committee for Middleburg Clay Hill, since it's such a big area, is that I try to keep them balanced. So Sam Kilgore and Mr. Barber live in the same neighborhood, so it's appropriate. Mr. Barber's former law enforcement, works in private industry now, but he's very, very well respected by his neighborhood mates, and had recommendations from Amber Taylor, who's one of our appointees to the CCUA, and then also from Scotty Taylor, who's the chair of that committee. So I would like to make a motion to approve Mr. Barber.
All right. Do we have a second?
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve Mr. Barber to the Middleburg Clay Hill Citizens Advisory Committee. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And he is appointed. Thank you for your service, Mr. Barber. Moving on to item number 14, acceptance of resignation from the Oakleaf Brandon Ridge Citizens Advisory Committee. Patricia Koloski submitted her resignation. Unfortunately, that was kind of quick.
It was. That was so quick. So I will move approval and say thank you, Patricia, for your commitment to the CAC. And just as a plug, we would love for that seat to be refilled. So send your apps to Teresa, who has, okay, she stepped out. Oakleaf, Middleburg, Orange Park. We'd love to get some applications and get some folks on there. And, oh my goodness, I'm blanking on your name. Help me. Stephen, yes, so sorry. Yes, so Stephen's been doing a great job. So they all found that he was worthy of the position to lead the org. And I have heard feedback that you're doing phenomenal. So I thank you for all that you're doing. Oh, but Patricia, thank you so much, and I move approval.
All right. Give me a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. So we're going to move on to item number 15, which is discussion of appointments to the Lake Asbury Municipal Service Benefit District. We received an application for appointment from Mark McMillan.
I would move approval. He has served on that in the past. He's a wealth of knowledge on it. When we had their dam conversations several years ago, what was that, 4 years ago, 5 years ago? Anyway, I had spoken with him to get some knowledge. I think that he'll be good on there.
And the way that Courtney explained it to me is that, because normally the people for that, Lake Asbury Municipal Services District run for office, and we don't appoint them. Because I was asking her why we were appointing him, and it's only to finish, Ms. Weisenberger's seat, who is resigning, also. And then he would have to run, is it this year? In 26? So he would be on the ballot for 26. So, I imagine, Mr. McMillan, you're watching, so don't forget to file your paperwork with the Supervisor of Elections office, because he would have to be voted on. And the way that works, Commissioner Scarmelo, you weren't on here, I don't think, they function totally separate from us. So they can vote themselves a tax increase, which is what they did when we heard it 4 years ago. They increased their own taxes to pay into maintenance of the dams. And it's one of these special districts. There's not many of them, but they function completely separately from us, I guess, except for in these cases.
All right.
A second.
Got a motion and a second? All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And then additionally, Carol Weisenberger submitted her resignation from her seat.
And
We don't
no
need to vote.
action.
Okay, thank you. All right, very good. Moving on to item number 16, there was a letter that was shared with you today about program support and commitment to utilize state-supplied services for pre-hospital blood infrastructure with the Florida Department of Health. And this is going to help from a funding perspective to ensure that Clay County Fire Rescue can deliver timely and life-saving pre-hospital blood transfusions to patients in need. Courtney, do we need to vote on this or no? Yeah. And Megan, you want to present on, or you have something to present, or is there a question?
I'm here to answer questions and give a little background. We did receive this very recently from the Department of Health. They're still figuring out what the program will look like, but the letter of commitment helps show them how many people are interested in participation.
Very good.
So maybe for the public's sake, can you tell them what the program does?
Sure.
Yes, so the governor has proposed an appropriation of $14.6 million to be included in the 2026-2027 budget for the development of a statewide pre-hospital blood infrastructure program for our EMS departments. So Clay County has begun that infrastructure process, but this program would help move that forward and advance it.
Does it, sorry to get in the weeds, but does it, and this might be a question for Chief,
Sort of the easy way, at least that I understand it, that probably the chief can expand on, is to provide blood transfusions prior to reaching the hospital.
nice. So the monies would provide for the equipment, the services, et cetera?
Yeah, Lauren Mock, Fire Chief. The easy way to describe it is that as many of us are familiar with what we see in a battlefield situation where medics would deliver whole blood to trauma patients that were injured, the same is being rolled out almost a statewide basis. We are in the process of securing contracts with a vendor that will provide the whole blood to us and organizing a delivery system that'll ensure that we can get it to trauma victims on scene with our paramedics in as timely a manner as possible.
Very nice. Sounds like a really good program. Commissioner Renninger.
This grant provides implementation money. There's some maintenance, 26, 27, there's 28, 29, and 30. And I assume blood has a shelf life.
It does.
So what kind of expenditures, what kind of cost is a program like this?
Initially, we're looking in the $50,000 range to get it started. It requires us to have refrigerators that can handle and store the blood, have warmers in the field that can warm the blood when you're preparing to use it, and then an exchange program with the blood bank to ensure that once we're getting close to a shelf life, we can rotate it into a facility that can use it in a more timely manner. Obviously, we don't do as well at planning like you would in a surgical suite or something where you know you may have those needs. So by working in partnership with the blood bank through the contract, we can ensure both timely delivery and that we don't hold blood past a reasonable shelf life.
So it's frozen and we have to
Yeah,
heat it up to
correct.
use it?
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So Chief, how do they do that? Like, do they use like the universal
Yeah.
one? Is that, so
Yes.
that's,
Mhm.
So
Sure.
it's a specific blood
Correct.
type, yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
Absolutely.
I didn't figure you have like a,
Yeah. We don't have time to test in the field and get the right blood type.
yeah. And what is that? Is that AB negative?
Yeah, I think it's.
O
Yeah,
negative.
it's O something, plus, O positive.
And currently, we don't have the capability of doing this, right?
We are not doing that delivery right now. Some of our partners in the area have started it. It has been discussed here for a while. We were obviously getting past some hurdles because given a 640 square mile county, you can't have it in the right place at all times. We're looking at utilizing our community paramedicine units that are dispatched around the clock now as it is to help with that delivery, and hopefully we can set up a plan that can get the blood to the units in the field when the call is at its critical point, and they can deliver the transfusion then.
Very good. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Megan.
Sure.
Sorry, Courtney, you said we do or don't? We do vote. We do vote. All right. I'll entertain a motion.
Move approval.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
And just specifically so that everyone knows, we have it, because of the urgency of the letter, we have it set up for you to sign in place of the chair.
Thank you. All right, we have a couple letters for documentation on the agenda. Item number 17, the bid opening tabulations, and you can see that on the agenda. And this is now to the second public comment section of our meeting. If anyone would like to address the commission, please feel free. I do not currently have any common cards, but if you'd like to step up to the podium, help yourself. Seeing none, I'll close the second public comment portion of the meeting. Commission Auditor. County Attorney.
Just a couple of follow-up items in connection with matters that you request us to be working on. Specifically in connection with the pet nuisance and the irresponsible pet owner. Ernest has really been researching that, and we found some language that we think might be helpful, but we're trying to look into the actual process as to how to incorporate it in our ordinance and then have it so that the judge can actually enforce it. But we are following up and working on that. Additionally, in connection with the e-bike legislation, I don't know if you've been following it, but I'm not sure it's going to actually meet ultimately what you had wanted, because it's really going to be limited to just some requirements in connection with the sidewalk for them to slow down. So we'll wait until that legislation moves through, and then we'll come back and revisit that. Lastly, last week we reported, or last board meeting, we reported on the opioid settlement, and I know it's exciting for Megan and Troy. We did receive an additional $305,000 in last week, so that will be going towards that pot of money. And lastly, we had a charter review committee meeting yesterday, and the next one's scheduled for March the 16th.
Any questions for the county attorney? Thank you. County manager.
Okay, an update on the pipes. So a total of 25 pipes busted during the cold weather. Three of the major ones that had busted was Rosemary Hill, the Fire Station 15, and then the courthouse. Those were quickly repaired. There's Twin Lakes still remains. Twin Lakes is a pump that's there, so it wasn't just pipes, that it's a pump. And just got a text from there will be porta potties there, ma'am, delivered tomorrow for that. Some of the other places, like Justin mentioned, was like the gun range, Moccasin Slough, and Eagle Harbor. But again, most of them have been repaired. Obviously, Twin Lakes remains on that one. we'll provide updates on that. Also, with the cold weather, also we had, which I might as well mention, about Green Cove Springs and Electric, which also applied a little bit to Clay Electric and how they purchase electric and the cost of it during the cold weather. We are asked to go to generator power in this building and some others. We did lower the thermostat. We chose not to go to the generator power, but to support both Green Cove Springs and Clay Electric, we adjusted, power consumption during that period of time between Sunday and Monday, which was critical. And I know the sheriff also participated in this and that in order to help out the supply of power within the area. So to go on record for that. But it's basically transparent. Obviously, nobody lost the power. It was more of a concern of the cost of power. I would like, pending any other additional questions, I'd like to yield some of my time to Chief Mock and to talk about an executive order that just came out from the governor late yesterday. It's Executive Order 2632, 33, and it deals with the very extreme cold weather. It also deals with wildfires and with regards to our drought and what that impact may be. To tee it up, some surrounding counties, and there's a band of which we're in a severe drought, which numbers indicate that they've gone into a ban for burning. So I'd like to turn the floor over to Chief to talk about that.
Chief Mock.
Thank you. And I will say back to the extended freeze we had 2 Sundays ago, it was quite an eventful Sunday for fire rescue services. If any of you saw the social media part of that, I think we had 8 working structure fires alone, in addition to multiple wildland situations that we were dealing with, and multiple broken pipes. It wasn't just your commissioner. I was in dispatch for a period of hours on Sunday after being at some of the fires, and we were basically trying to hold calls while units became available to go to where we could assist citizens in shutting off water. Some of them were commercial structures, some of them were residential structures, so you clearly weren't alone. We did have Station 15 during that time, had a broken pipe. Luckily, it never stopped the water. We just had a leak that had to be repaired with it, and those guys weren't back at the station for a long period of time during that day. Unfortunately, this past Sunday, we dealt with a similar situation with a number of wildland fires that were breaking out throughout the day, and it was at the same time we were assisting the sheriff's office with the missing child, so we were able to move resources. In both cases, I want to thank our partners at the City of Jacksonville, because they brought in an alarm assignment to help us with one structure fire on the previous Sunday, and this past Sunday came in to assist with a separate wildland fire that broke out at the same time. So I'm not sure if it's Sundays and weather or just that it was a bad period of time. But as the manager said, the governor did do the executive order this afternoon. I'm not trying to steal Director Devin's thunder, but it involves both agricultural damage as a result of the freeze, then the extended drought and wildfire conditions as rendering it. As you heard from former Commissioner Conkey, I think that we are in a period where we're going to go to an extended time frame where we will have favorable conditions for wildfire development, and it certainly brought up the burn ban question. I've been in contact both with Andy Lamborn, who's the Jacksonville District Manager for the Florida Forest Service, as well as David Seacrest, our county forester. We have been comparing our situation with our neighbors to the west, where they are in burn bans now, and we are all in agreement at this point that we are going to delay that burn ban. I fully expect that I'm going to be going to the manager to ask for a local state of emergency at some point over the next few weeks to order a burn ban for the county. I'm very concerned, though, that I do it in concert with the Florida Forest Service, because I don't want the situation where they're issuing burns to commercial firms that are doing burning for land clearing and things like that. At the same time, I'm telling the citizens they can't. We want to be in lockstep when we do this. We've seen this in our counties to the west where they do have the burn ban, but they're still issuing the authorizations for their district. And I think that sends a really bad message. I really have that. I want to be in full coordination with them. My other concern is, and this is based on past experience, once we do this and are in this for a period of time, once we start it, I'm afraid we're going to be in for a period of weeks or months. And we want to be ensuring that we can continue that over that period of time. And I know that's going to put pressure on our commercial firms that depend on that for land clearing and things like that. So that coordination, I think, is essential. I believe that at some point over the next few weeks we will do this. I don't know when that will be. I'm very encouraged that our relative humidity factors are going to rise over the next couple weeks. The problem is when we do that, we're also going to see increased temperatures, which will begin to balance that part out. So I don't want to do weather forecasting, not my thing, but I do want to set the expectation for the citizens of the county. I think it's essential that if you can't do effective controlled burning at the moment, that you choose not to do that. We have been putting that message out pretty extensively. We've also been asking that residents begin to clear the now freeze damaged brush and debris from around their property so that we have defensible space in the event we do have a wildland fire that approaches one of their structures. And I think that we can hold for at least the short term with that pattern. But I'm not encouraged by what I'm seeing in long-term forecasting. And questions, sir or ma'am?
Mr. Condon?
So, Chief, I painfully remember the spring of '98,
Where it seemed like the world in the south part of the county was on fire.
Yeah.
I distinctly remember I was working in Alachua, Florida, and living in Keystone, and I couldn't get home one night because every road that I went down was closed then for another fire. And it took me well over 3 hours to go all the way south to Marion County, up through Putnam County, and come home. It was really, really scary. And it seems to me that through communication, so now it's much easier for people to see that other counties have burn bans, and that was actually on my list to ask in my comments. So thank you for addressing it. Thank you, County Manager. But I feel like there's such a nonchalant attitude towards fire. I was on the phone with City Manager Jamie Booth yesterday, standing at my dining room window watching my neighbor have this huge fire, and they had a garden hose out there. Then I watched the dry grass catch on fire, and it just seems, it was fine. Obviously, y'all didn't have to come out there, but it just, I see people nonchalantly say, well, I have trash to burn because the county won't give me another can, and, just stuff like that. And I don't think people realize how quickly something can get out of control. Can you kind of, without getting in too much into the fire science and all of that, can you kind of give us an indication of how quickly these things get away, or what it is that's starting some of them? Or
Sure. I think the simplest thing for most people is if you take a look at all of our yards right now, they are absolutely brown. Most of the vegetation that we've had around our properties has taken some pretty heavy freeze damage. If you just imagine all of that being almost tinder dry, which is what we have, if you choose to light a match somewhere, it's going to burn. And once it starts, it's going to take a good piece of time for us probably to get to you, and then for us to deploy resources to control that. And that's why that defensible space around the property is so essential, and it's also why we're really encouraging people not to burn. Now, one of the things I want to point out is the only burns that are legal in the state of Florida are for vegetative materials. So burning paper, burning trash, burning garbage, illegal at all times. Some of our municipalities, Green Cove and Orange Park, for example, already do not permit burning. The city of Jacksonville has a permanent burn ban in place that's not allowed. So there are very strict regulations. Those regulations are on our website with it. If we come out and you have intentionally set a fire under the best circumstances and it burns into your neighbor's yard, you're going to get a visit from the Division of Forestry, and they're going to issue a citation for that. So I really encourage, unless there's a need to do it, don't do it. I am very reticent to put burn bans in place because It stops all outdoor burning, including your fire pits, your barbecue grills and things like that where there are open flames. And so I'm circumspect to ensure that when we do that, we are serious and we can ensure that we get the best cooperation we can from our county residents.
Thanks.
Any other questions for Chief? Thank you.
Sure.
All right. We'll do commissioner comments. We'll start with Commissioner Condon.
I had on my list the burn ban, so thank you. I just have two. One, I continue, Caleb, I know you don't want to hear this, but I continue to get parking complaints between the senior center in Keystone Heights and the tax collector office. So I don't know if we want to kind of revisit that in that area. I don't know if we want to work with the city to see if they have any possible solutions or anything like that, but I just wanted to bring that up. The post office is complaining that people are parking in the post office parking lot, and it's not a very big parking lot, and walking across. And the tax collector has implemented appointments, which had never been there. She has an outdoor kiosk, so, but at any rate, I don't know what the right answer is, just wanted to mention it again. And then the other thing is that again, communication with our citizens is good and they enjoy it. They very much enjoy the Sheriff's Safer Watch app and then the fire department's Pulse Point app. And they also get pretty, some people, not all, get belligerent when they know, they hear sirens, they see lights, and they know something is going on near them and they are just indignant that the sheriff hasn't issued a Safer Watch update or that kind of thing. And I just wanted to, and correct me if I speak wrong for either organization, but there are certain emergencies that aren't appropriate to put out on that kind of communication. One of them, I will just say I learned recently, which I didn't learn it, but it made sense to me, is suicide. And we're just not going to put that stuff out there. And you don't always have the right to know why emergency vehicles are going by. Or if they're in the middle of an emergency, like your missing child, you know, she's going to put it out when it's appropriate. But if they're still gathering, has this child been kidnapped? Do we need an Amber Alert? Like there's so much going on. And I appreciate both organizations' attempt to communicate as much as they can with the public. I just wanted to remind the public that you don't have a right to know all of it, and they're only withholding it for privacy purposes or law purposes. And very grateful for both of your organizations and all the work that you do. Sheriff had shared at the State of the County how her stats from last year, if you get an opportunity to go to one of their Sheriff's Net meetings and hear her updates, their record number of calls for 2025 were it just blows my mind of what you are able to do and how much of the county you're able to cover. And same with fire. They had put out a post last week, I believe it was, an update on record number of calls responded. And so we're engaging the public. Those are good conversations. Laura is in the back and she helps with a lot of that on different multimedia. But when you don't have the right answer right away, don't spread rumors, please. Don't go show up on scene. You know, just be respectful of that. It may be something that a family is really hurting. So that was all. I just had seen a few posts that I was kind of like, maybe it's time to remind the public of that. Not that they care what I have to say, but hopefully it makes a difference. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Commissioner Compere. Let's go this way.
Sounds good. Hey, thank you for the segue, Commissioner Condon. Laura, I hate to call you out, but would you come forward? A couple of weeks ago, she was briefing the board about how the communications department has done an excellent job and should be recognized. Come on up, Laura. Don't be shy. You're not shy. I just want to highlight your team and how well you guys have done to keep Clay County informed. We appreciate our counterparts with public safety. It's great that all of these channels are working together to get from the appropriate departments conveying that information. And so it was great that we had those teams highlighted. I'd also like to highlight what you've done for us.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Laura Christmas, Director of Communications. So in 2025, as I shared with the board and the county manager, our content was viewed on social media more than 44 million times. So that's 44 million impressions. And that's across 20 social media platforms. Our website had more than 2 million views. We've reached nearly 6,000 residents on our online AI chatbot. They use that to get their questions answered. We have 32,000 subscribers to our newsletters, and we have more than 37,000 subscribers on Alert Clay, which is our emergency reporting app. And our organization was mentioned nearly 2,000 times by Jacksonville and Gainesville broadcast news stations. And doing some rough, I'm from Pasco County, so I'll say Pasco County math. That's about $2.5 million in earned media coverage. So that's $2.5 million we didn't have to pay to get our name out there, and it's all mostly positive coverage. So it's content that we're providing to them, it's content they're seeing on social media, content in our newsroom, content in our newsletters, and they're picking it up and they're airing it, and it's all positive about our programs, our road projects, our fire stations, ads, updates, etc. You name it, they're running it. So that's really positive for us. Now, I say all those numbers, but let me give you some context. So in 2023, we had almost 14 million impressions. Now we're up to 44 million. So we're coming a long way. This office, if you remember, started in 2023. We just had a PIO, we had some other staff kind of scattered. It wasn't coherent, cohesive, just by nature of the fact we'd never had a communications office before. When I came on, we put this team together. I'm so grateful for my team. They're so professional. They do such a good job. They're the reason we have these amazing numbers now. And so we're really coming a long way. Our subscribers, we were at 26,000. Now we're at 32 for newsletters. Alert Clay is up by nearly 4,000 new subscribers. So we can just continue to grow, and I'm proud of that. And our word is getting out there, our story is getting out there, and we doubled our social media impressions in the last year, and I aim to do it again. So hopefully next year at this time, I'll be saying it's 88 million. So appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you. The reason why I highlight that, thanks so much, Laura, is because I've noticed, especially over the last several months, that when I get tagged in social media posts, it's often just a question and folks are curious. But then before I have a chance to respond, members of the community are already giving their answers directly from the county website. And that is a tremendous help. And so I do want to commend your team for putting that information out there, making it digestible such that another individual can convey that to a neighbor in need or a neighbor who's curious. And so I do want to highlight what you guys have done. Thank you. That's all I've got for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I've got two other things. One, hats off to the EDC and their presentation. I wish we had gotten to stay for all of it, but the changes that are happening in the workforce are both exciting and also very alarming. And so I just underscore, if you do not and have not seen the details of that report or their presentation, I would encourage you to do so. I think that the county manager shared that it was going to be added to our website. So please, please, please take a look. The changes are fast. You do not want to wake up and find out that your job is outsourced to a bot. Like, that's just not what you want to do. And now is the time, if you haven't already, to start making plans. And it's exciting, but it's also very alarming at the rate at which we are moving towards automation. The reason why we didn't get to see the whole thing was because of the budget workshop, and I am very thankful for staff. Pulling that together is no small feat, and again, being able to communicate that to the public in a way that is digestible. MJ, You, Reg, your team, Troy did a phenomenal job leading that conversation at the direction of the county manager. Again, thank you for all of the effort that takes to get us oriented. A couple of weeks ago, the Oakleaf community had another library workshop, and the folks came out and they shared what they would like to see, and I started to see more comments about, for those who couldn't attend, it was a really cold night, just ideas that are so out of the box, but relevant because it's not just a library. And so thank you for those who came out. Thank you for the comments coming in still about what you'd like to see. Those are very important and we care. And last but not least, the congressman came to town a couple weeks ago with the military academy nominees and celebrated these just amazing young people who are thinking about their future, but not in a silo. They're thinking about their future and building into our American infrastructure, our military. And I am proud of those young ones, and hats off to our team. Commissioner Reniger and our county manager helped lead that effort, and you're doing a phenomenal job. Thanks so much. That's all I've got for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Compere. Commissioner Reniger.
Yes, I also want to commend the staff for the budget workshop. It was one of the best workshops I've been at. But no matter how transparent we try to be, no matter how accurate we are with our data, we still get misrepresented in blogs about the things we presented that day. So, and I don't know how to fix that. It was very clear. It was concerning FTE from 2007 to 2026. The blog referenced that data point saying we wanted to get to the 2007 numbers in 2026. And that was never expressed that I heard at that meeting, but nonetheless, that's what social media do to you. I want to make you aware of a couple events this week and early next week. Habitat for Humanity is building a house on Thomas Street in Green Cove Springs on, I think it's Thursday, February 12th at 0900. If you care, Bel Air Community Cleanup occurs Saturday, February 21st at, I think it's 0830 is what they're telling me. I got to be there. The other thing I'd like to point out is, our job is really broad and deep, but we have tools that help us do our job. And one of the tools is called Lobby Tools, and Charlie Latham forwards those to us. But I just want to make you aware of the last transmission from Charlie consists of about 53 different bills. And these are the issues, some of the more important issues. Of course, property taxes in there prevails in there. Term limits for commissioners. Litigation against governments is in there, which affects us. Housing's in there. Electric bicycles is in there. TDC taxes is in there. AI is in there. Body cameras for code enforcement is in there. HOAs and fees is in there. And those are just probably half the subjects that I've written down. But nonetheless, we're going to Tallahassee next week, Clay Day, and these are some of the things that are eventually could really affect Clay County. So these are some of the things we ought to be aware of, and maybe talk to our delegation a little bit about some of these issues. Last thing I have is Monday is a national holiday, President's Day, but I'll be at HOA at Heritage Hills on Monday. So, and that's all I have. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Khan had one more thing.
I had one more thing I wanted to share with you because Commissioner Compere's comments brought it to mind. So Commissioner Reniger and I had the pleasure last Tuesday of judging the Clay County Science Fair, which is always a great time. If you don't have anything going on, usually the first Tuesday of February, it's a wonderful time. And these projects are not required except for a few of the really advanced classes. So the kids who are innovative choose to be in it. And it used to be required in 6th grade, and
if you were a parent of a sixth grader, you were celebrating that they eliminated that. But anyway, we want our kids to learn and we want them to be creatively scientific. And the winner in my division was in plants junior high. So she was a seventh grader, and her project was AI in plants. And it was a fascinating project. And she tested the apps that are some AI apps that are general, and then some that are made specifically for plants. The one and you take a picture and you put it in. It's supposed to tell you what's wrong with your plant. The ones that are made specifically for plants were accurate 20% of the time. And the ones that were general were accurate 9% of the time, with one of them, which I probably shouldn't say publicly. I don't know, Courtney, can I say it? It might start with Microsoft and end with a Copilot, was accurate 0% of the time. And so I share that with you, that it was fascinating to me. But I use AI all the time. My family will tell you I think ChatGPT is my best friend, and I ask it whatever we want to know at the dinner table. But just make sure you're checking your sources, because I was shocked to see how inaccurate. And I think the plant ones people pay money for, so they may not want to. They want to cancel that for subscription. But I thought that was fascinating. We have a great future ahead of us with these really talented young people that we all know. I will say though, and y'all know I'm a public school girl. I was educated in public school. She spent her first 6 years in private Catholic school, and she was head and shoulders above her peers. But the first year in public school, and she's enjoying it. So I guess maybe she didn't have that much fun in Catholic school, but she learned a lot. But anyway, just wanted to share that. Thank you, sir.
Awesome, no problem. All right, my comments tonight. So I attended my first Public Safety Council meeting last week or the week before. Real pretty kind of light agenda, but they talked about the jail expansion project that's underway, albeit the consensus was going painfully slow, but it's underway, which will increase the capacity up to 575 from 492. That's right, yep. So that'll be good for our county in the services that we need to provide. I had the opportunity to speak at the Clay Builders Breakfast, spoke a lot about the opportunity for commercial development in our community. We need that tremendously for jobs and opportunity along the Beltway as it becomes open. So I spoke to the builders about that. Tourism hosted the minor league golf event at Eagle Harbor. It was a 3-day event. Golfers came from over 20 states to Clay County to play. The winner won $11,000, which was pretty cool. And I was going through looking at the golfers. There were guys from the University of Michigan, from Oklahoma State. It's a very prominent professional golf league for guys that are trying to break into the PGA Tour. We've hosted it for a couple years now, and they're definitely planning on coming back. So it's a great tourism event. Good job to Teddy and the team with that, and also Airstream Ventures. And I just want to say thanks to Richard and the team for the repaving projects coming underway on County Road 220, and I've been doing a lot of work on that. And then the last thing is, America 250. So this is going to be the 250th anniversary of our country, which is awesome. And if I wanted to get with the county manager, talk about maybe some creative ideas as a commission that we can do to maybe commemorate that. On top of that, there's a lot of resources out there. And Howard, I'll get with you to kind of share with everyone as far as some potentially, hopefully it's not too late, but some things we can do at the fair, that we could implement with Tasha, so our whole community and everyone abroad can celebrate it, because this is going to be our only time we get to. So it's a really, really cool time. But yep, go ahead.
Sir, if I may, we were planning to do something at Touch a Truck
Okay,
to
good.
commemorate the 250. That's still in work. I don't have any details on it, but that was one area that we explored also.
Perfect. Very good. All right. But yeah, I'll send you some of the things I've seen. There's and I don't know if there's a cost of it. There's people that have donated it. Obviously the White House is very into the 250 thing. There's a lot of different private groups that have sponsored some really cool things. I saw a semi truck that you go in and everything's from 1776 and those types of things. So really neat. So, but other than that, that's all I have. Anything else for the good of the group? All right, meeting adjourned.